Stop in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Michael.
Let me tell you about a man named Randall Rhodes. He was born and raised in the North, but he loved the Southern way of life, and he'd fight to the death for the Southern cause. He marched on down to the fields of cotton, where he met up with General Mosby's gray ghost. The general gave Randall the rank of colonel so he could fight with the brave men in gray. Now Colonel Randall Rhodes fights for the bonnie blue flag, and that's what Colonel Randall Rhodes brings. He brought fire, he brought freedom, he brought love, he brought war, and he said, to hell with the stars and stripes, I'm fighting for the stars and bars, and to hell with your war of aggression, I'm fighting for the war of independence. And he'd march on down to the fields of cotton for a southern nation, and the gray ghost fights for the bonnie blue flag. And that's what Colonel Randall Rhodes brings.
Okay, this is what Randy Rhodes brings. He brings fire, he brings freedom, he brings love, and he brings war. Yes, indeedy. I love the lyrics. I love the music. Thank you, Suno.com. You are amazing. $8. Well worth the cost. So this is Friday. Then that means it's Red Shirt Friday, because on Fridays we honor our military. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I have a few short videos that I would like to play. Folks, I don't know who's watching, but these are for entertainment purposes only, for education on how to join the military if you wish to join the military. I do not own the rights to these broadcasts. These broadcasts are in a social media public authorization, so don't ding me. And here we go with the first one. I'm sure many of you folks might have seen these, but they're well worth sharing.
Michael. You can do anything you want. Why this?
I don't want to be stuck behind the desk.
But out on your own?
I won't be alone.
End it.
I'll be a part of a team, making an impact.
Great job.
So what do you say, Mom?
Yes, indeedy. What do you say, Mom, when your son or daughter comes to you and says, I want to join the military? You sit them down, give them a talk, make sure it's what they want to do, and then let them make their decision. Here's another one.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, I'm positive.
I mean, I love that you're trying to help, but why this way?
Because there's a lot going on in the world, and this is how I can help. So, what do you think?
What do you think when your daughter comes to you and she says, I want to join the military so I can join medical training, so I can go into the far reaches of the world and provide medical treatment to those who cannot get them? What do you say, Dad? Well, daughter, if this is what you want to do and you are set on it, then I support you 100%. Let's go to the recruiter's office right now.
Do you really want to go through with this?
Absolutely.
You've always stood up for what you believed in, but this?
What could mean more than this? So, Mom, what do you think?
So, Mom, what do you think when your son wants to join the Marines? Well, son, your dad's not here to give you good advice, and it's just me. I'll miss you. I'll keep you in my prayers. But I know you know what you want to do, and you'll be well trained and supported by your team members. Let's get in the car. I'll drive you down to the recruiter's office right now. Let's get you signed up, son. And here's another one. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but it gives you an idea. All those videos I just sent to you, showed to you, and it shows men and women making the decision to join the military. This is what the outcome of that very strong military that our President Trump wants to have.
Just how massive is the US military, especially when compared to other world powers? Let's start with some basic figures to give you a sense of the sheer scale at which the US military operates. Altogether, the US military has roughly 1.3 million active personnel, putting it in either third or fourth place in terms of the largest militaries. The first two spots, China and India, should be a given, considering that they have roughly triple the population of the US. Russia has roughly the same number of active military personnel, but its military numbers have significantly changed from one year to the next, especially as global geopolitics saw Russia distance itself from NATO. When comparing the size of the US military with that of China and India, a clear pattern emerges. China, a country with a population of roughly 1.41 billion, with a B, has roughly 2.03 million active personnel in its military. India, with a slightly higher population, estimated at 1.42 billion, has 1.45 million active personnel. And then there's the US, with a population of just 336 million. Even at a glance, the population metrics suggest that the US is much more militarized compared to China and India, considering that its ratio of active personnel to population is almost triple the size. Of course, these are all figures from 2024, although the numbers, or rather the relative differences between them, haven't changed much over the past decade. But perhaps the mind-blowing scale of the US military is more evident in the fact that the US military is by far the biggest spender among the world's veritable superpowers. In fact, if you look at the biggest military budgets, the US military accounts for 40% of the entire world's military budget for national armies. That's 2/5 of the money the world spends on national defense, all wrapped up in the US.
And we go to a commercial.
Military. The country spends more than the next 5 biggest spenders, China, Russia, India, the UK, and Saudi Arabia combined. And the list is only that short because China and Russia are composed of 6 separate branches: the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force. We'll let you guess which one of those is the newest. Let's take a look at them, starting with the US Army. As the land-based branch of the armed forces, the US Army has arguably the largest contingent of US troops. Out of the 1.3 million active troops, the Army holds roughly 450,000. But there's a bit more to it. The US Army also technically counts the Army National Guard in its ranks, which adds another 330,000 military personnel as Federal Reserve forces during wartime, but typically only as a militia service. Additionally, the US Army Reserve has roughly 188,000 more troops. The US Army's primary directive is to ensure complete land dominance over the enemy in all the US military's major operations. As such, it's one of the nation's primary offensive and defensive forces, and among the first branches to be deployed into military conflicts anywhere in the world. This worldwide coverage is made possible by the US Army's enormous and extensive range of military equipment. For example, it has 4,600 M1 Abrams tanks, some of the most modern pieces of armor available worldwide. This main battle tank has been pivotal ever since it first entered active duty during the Gulf War in 1991. Since then, the Abrams has received extensive upgrades, particularly to its electronic side. This main battle tank
I want to show you something.
For example, it has 4,600 M1 Abrams tanks, some of the most modern pieces of armor available worldwide. This main battle tank has been pivotal ever since it first entered.
Okay, so do you take notice to the soldiers walking alongside the tanks? These guys are infantry. They are the eyes on the ground for the tanks. Okay, so should they go into enemy territory and find the enemy, the guys on the ground are going to give support to the tanks. Okay? Unlike what the idiots in Ukraine and Russia are doing, they're sending their tanks in without the ground support. That's why so many of their tanks are being taken out by drones dropping shit into the open manhole covers. They're idiots. This is the way you fight a war. You send in your armor along with the infantry. Okay?
Active duty during the to see the light of day nearly 15 years later. To support the US Army troops on the ground, the military also makes extensive use of infantry support vehicles. Two models arguably reign supreme, the M2 Bradley and the M3 Bradley. The US Army has a total of 6,100 units across the different models, some in active duty and some in storage. Dubbed the best vehicle of the Ukraine war, the M2 Bradley and its successor the M3 are both lightly armored, extremely versatile ground support vehicles designed to provide cover fire, optics, and protection for the infantry squads.
If you're here in the area and are looking for a solution to heat your home this winter, then this is hands down the system you need to be looking at.
The Bradleys have two advantages over the contemporary tanks and infantry vehicles.
A little further.
Often the US military has opted to deploy these vehicles on various battlefields. One of the main benefits of the Stryker vehicle design is its ability to seamlessly incorporate new technologies, systems, and weaponry inside its base chassis. This allows the US Army to heavily customize the vehicles based on any situation, giving itself the upper hand in any conflict. The Strykers have been used as reconnaissance vehicles. Donations from NATO in the form of the F-16s, which would endanger Russia's efforts to achieve air superiority, not just within Ukraine, but within its own borders too. The F-35 was designed to be one of the most versatile fighter jets ever built, with several possible configurations of weapons and missile loads for different missions. The stealth design utilizes 4 air-to-ground smart bombs, or air-to-air missiles, while the Beast mode loads the aircraft up with up to 16 missiles for maximum offensive power. The F-35 is also notable for being able to display vital battlefield data in real time, while simultaneously...
Okay, so I'm not going to play any more of that, but you get the idea. We have a shitload of military equipment, a shitload of military personnel. Why? Well, for one reason, we want to make sure we are the strongest military across the board. Secondly, because the European countries and other countries don't know how the hell to protect themselves, and they're not willing to spend the money to build up their own military, so they depend on the United States to support their countries. Now, thankfully, they started to pony out the money, and they're paying us for the support of their military. So, folks, I don't want to go too long in the mouth with this. This was simply a Friday. It's Red Shirt Friday. It's where we show support for our military personnel and how they are very important to us then, now, and future, like the Space Force. And I'm kind of I would be interested to see what they plan on doing with that 15-mile long uh, asteroid slash alien ship that's headed towards our planet. God, if you have some people say, well, it has lights that flash off and on. It emits carbon dioxide, which is something, you know, now it emits methane, which is, when you fart, you have methane gas, and it shouldn't be doing that. And it's pushing out dust from this end. It should be pushing out from. It'd be interesting to see what it turns out to be, whether it's just one very sophisticated asteroid or it is actually a spacecraft that's headed to us and we're deep in shit. Um, uh, I just hope that, if the time ever comes for us to go up against an alien force from outer space, that Trump or someone like Trump is in office because viewing Hollywood and the movies, um, to have an idiot like a Trump or Kamala Harris in the office when the aliens attack, we're screwed because they won't know what to do. They'll just surrender and say, "Yeah, go eat our people." Just leave me for last. Whatever. Um, yeah, it's kind of idiots. But so, folks, I just wanted to come on here real quick to say this is Red Shirt Friday. If you have a red shirt, please wear it. Everyone around you out in public will know what you mean, or they should know what you mean. If not, they're idiots. Okay. Um, Also, folks, um, if you are available Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, um, we are having a special Tuesday event with Jen, the homeschooling mom Woodruff, and myself, along with author and historian Matthew Holmes, where we will be discussing um, the latest book that Jen and I have read. Oops, hold on a second. Let me get it for you. It is called Spirit of Vengeance. It is a true story about Matthew's fourth great granduncle who owned farmland, very sizable farm, and he was blinded early in life through an accident when he was cutting down wood, and he was on his porch when the Union Army came in, and a soldier from the Union Army came up, told him to turn over his farmland to him. The uncle said no, and the Union soldiers shot him twice in the head, killing him. Thankfully, the commanding officer of the Union forces realized that that was a war crime, had the soldier arrested. He was tried for murder, and he suffered the consequences. It was back in that day, I think, was a firing squad. So please pick up your copy of Matthew Holmes' Spirit of Vengeance. You won't regret reading it. I'm waiting for more of his books to arrive at my doorstep. Hopefully, it'll be shortly, and we'll be getting on that next one later. But unfortunately, I don't see anyone here in the comment section. I don't see anyone here in that comment section. Let me just change here to a different screen. See if anybody is here making any kind of comments. And actually, no. Well, that's sad. That's really sad. But, it is what it is, what it is, what it is. No one really knew I was going to come on board, I guess. But it's Friday. It is Red Shirt Friday. It's where we honor our military. I was in the Air Force myself for 4 years. My dad was in the Air Force for 22 years. And I would have stayed in longer, but I went to my family doctor for the annual checkup, and he said, "Mr. Rhodes, do you has anyone ever told you that your heart skips a beat? I said, no. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, what's called a heart murmur. Nothing big, nothing to worry about. No medicines required. Just be aware of it. Oh, okay, thank you. And the next month when I went in for my, cause I was in the reserves. So the next time I went for my weekend duty, we were getting ready to go to gas mask training, and I was pulled out, and they said, "Nope, you can't go in there. We received notice about a health issue, and we are going to be dismissing you with an honorable discharge. You're done. No offer of a desk job or anything. Just you're done." I would have loved to stayed in. I mean, come on. Up until now, I've been doing fine. Why all of a sudden? I don't know. I don't know. So I want to end this show because it's just time. There's no one else here. Now, if someone pops in, meanwhile, I will stay on longer. This is the same song with a different tempo to it. I hope you like it.
Well, let me tell you about a man named Randall Rhodes. He was born and raised in the north, but he loved the southern way of life, and he'd fight to the death for the southern cause. He marched on down to the fields of cotton where he met up with General Moss, his gray ghost. The general gave Randall the rank of colonel so he could fight with the brave men in gray. Now Colonel Randall Rhodes fights for the bonny blue flag, and that's what Colonel Randall Rhodes brings. He brought fire, he brought freedom, he brought love, he brought war. And he said, to hell with the stars and stripes, I'm fighting for the stars and bars. And to hell with your war of aggression, I'm fighting for the war of independence.
Oh, yeah. Good.
And he'd march on down to the fields of cotton for a southern nation.
Yeah.
And the gray ghost fights for the bonny blue flag, and that's what Colonel Randall Rhodes brings.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta love it, folks. If you got some musical inclination to yourself, please take my advice and get Suno.com. $8, possibly $10, depending on what choice you want. Gotta get it. Gotta get it. And with that being said, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get to work. So, Red Shirt Friday, support your military, folks. If you know anybody that's in the military, call them up, text them, go see them, give them a hug, give them a kiss, say, I support you. Thank you for protecting me, and thank you for protecting our nation. And with that, folks, I'm out of here.